My next guest says it's an absolute red wave that will catapult former President Trump back into the White House. Let's bring in Trump 2016 Deputy Campaign Manager, Dave Bossie. Good to see you, Dave.
Thanks for having me back, Chris.
So you say that you think the Senate is 53-47 and that you're going to pick up 30 or so seats in the House. I'm not going to hold you to the numbers, but you're saying it's big. My first question is what it means about why you want to win. You say the days of crossing party lines to pass bipartisan legislation not going to happen next 2 years. Is that your way of admitting that the Republican main position is simply opposition to anything Democrats want to do?
Well, it's certainly going to attempt to get America back on track, back to that America First agenda that was so successful for the prior 4 years. President Biden inherited an incredibly healthy economy that was on the rise. He and his policies, the Democrats in Congress, and by the way, they couldn't even pass everything they wanted, even though they're in total control of the House and Senate, and he had to use executive orders because he couldn't get things through the House and Senate himself.
Senate's 50-50, Dave.
Hey, but they have the vote to break the tie, and they've used it and abused it over and over again. And that's one of the reasons. Look, we have Democrats and Democrat economists, Chris, who say that the spending over the last 2 years is the cause of this massive inflation wave that we have seen, and so that's
most of the
part
checks
of why
started
the Republicans
under your.
are going
hold on a second, Dave. Most of the checks started under your administration. Former President Trump was in favor of more checks. You passed a tax cut that you didn't pay for. I mean, come on, people can Google. I get the argument, but what are you guys going to do that's any different? You just said we're not going to do anything. We won't let them
Chris,
pass anything. So what will you do?
Survey after survey, poll after poll shows that the vast majority of the American people believe America is on the wrong track. They believe that, Joe Biden's approval rating hovers somewhere in the high 30s to 40%. That is the base of the Democrat Party only. That is none of the Republicans or independents, and even some of the Democrats.
He's a little higher than that. His numbers aren't that different from where Trump and the others were.
No, he's not.
I'm telling you, it depends which poll you want to pick.
But they're not on the ballot on Tuesday, Chris. But they're not on the ballot on Tuesday.
But I'm just saying that his relative value should be measured, right? I mean, just to be accurate. And to be accurate, he should lose seats. First-term incumbents almost always do. My question is this.
Oh, historically they do. Yeah. Absolutely.
What will you do if you get into the power seat of Congress to make things better? What will you do?
Well, first of all, Republican leaders, which have an agenda of our own, are going to have to try to work with President Biden. But as you've seen, the vilification, the angry, the hate-filled language that came out of Joe Biden's mouth last night and in previous days and weeks leading up to this election, I don't believe that Joe Biden, who got elected as some great unifier, who has been the most divisive president, quite frankly, in American history, is going to want to work with people who he has said are bad and anti-democratic and are a threat to democracy. That's pretty strong language for people that you're probably going to have to work with in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, but you know you're not going to work with them because the position is to oppose and to reject the Democrats and say they're dangerous. Look, I look at all you guys the same way. You know that, Dave, that you're going to get into a power. You're going to, say that these guys are crazy. They don't want to do anything. We need bigger margins. You got to give us more. The question is, what does it mean for Trump? You believe that this wave is going to catapult him back into the catbird seat. You really believe he wants to run?
Oh, I certainly do. And he's not made any decision, and he certainly hasn't made it public. But I think that President Trump has an enormous wind at his back if we win many, many seats in the House. We're gonna
even with the polls saying that more people want DeSantis.
No, polls aren't. First of all, we see a lot of different polls out there across the country for a lot of different things. President Trump has overwhelming support amongst the Republican Party voters, those who turn out to vote.
Hey, thank you for watching. please go to newsnationnow.com, newsnationnow.com, and you can find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button down below. Then you will get more of News Nation's fact-driven coverage.